What a song. Oh, there's Shadowbringers. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is so interesting. This is so cool. Just the whole thing. You know, oh, it was so good. The cast was so good. The story was so good. It was way over my head. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I I mean, obviously this is in the 9.5 plus category, right? So Heaven's Sword, I think, was a 9.5. This beats Heaven's Sword, I think, in music. Heaven's Sword, it's hard not to compare it to Heaven's Sword, but I think like with Heaven's Sword, it was a more familiar story. It was a little bit old fantasy. It was like dragons, castles, snow, nothing too fantastic. But this one just blew it off the top, talking about time travel, dimension travel, world travel. All the characters were memorable, all the pieces were memorable, all the struggles were memorable. This was way better. Stormblood was like a 7.5 or something. This thing's above a 9.5. I want to give this a 10. I know there's the post MSQ as well. That'll make me think better or worse than it's like. Let's just say a 9.8, 9.7. It's actually, I think it's better than Heaven's Sword right now. After just the base game. But I'm excited for these next quests. To go against Hades at the end. The whole Crystal XR thing, the whole, concept of bringing back, taking away all the light and storing it. It was such a cool idea. And Titania was a great boss. Bismarck was awesome. How did I not recognize Bismarck? That island that I had explored for a while. This game really, oh man, it's a crazy game. I love it a lot. The characters were so memorable. Oof, definitely the best yet. The fights were great, the mechanics were great. I'm excited to see the extreme versions of some of these fights. Oh man, I'm pumped. I'm trying to think of negatives. The music's better. The characters, I think, are more engageable. And of course, like Stormblood, you're kind of jumping around for no reason, saving different people fighting the Empire, but it didn't really make a lot of sense. This one had a cohesive story. There was a why behind why you were helping out all these different people and doing these different things. And I think that really changed the game compared to Stormblood. I think it was right on. I will say one thing though, Heaven's Sword did have a grittiness to it, starvation, human problems, and these problems, it's low fantasy is what Heaven's Sword was, very relatable things, dragons, soldiers, starving cities, sieges. Shadowbringers was very high fantasy. I don't even know if any of those things are. It was a lot more fantastical. The fantasy elements of it were kind of wild, There were gods that spoke and different dimensions and shades and things of ethereal natures and partial existence. They incorporated the Fae, which is really interesting. So they mixed a lot of really relatable things from other fantasy genres, other games in fantasy that I know, like Dungeons and Dragons. But it seemed, almost felt like it was trying to bite off too much. Just in one expansion. Just the Yulmore thing could have been its own expansion, let alone the whole Heavens thing and the 14, and the 10 divided by the 10 and 3 divided, lore. But, I'll tell you what, the reason I'm giving this a 9.8, and the reason I'm giving this a 9.8 so far, and not a 9.5 like I gave Heaven's Sword, is Heaven's Sword was its own nice little package, a story within itself, but it didn't progress the main narrative that much, besides really introducing a little bit more of the Warriors of Darkness, but really they didn't. It was really Shiva's story. It was really, it was really more about Ishgard But this story really tied together the whole package of the series, and it did it splendidly. It did it in such a good job, and it was over my head. There were so many parts of it that I still need to go back and re-understand. A lot of questions I have about the Alligans and the Crystal Tower. I know that there's Endwalker after this, so I'm excited to continue to play the post-story quest, and then to go on and play Endwalker. But right now, this is as good as it gets in terms of gaming, in terms of any RPG I've played. I mean, I'm a big Chrono Trigger fan, and I've played all the Final Fantasies, and, you know, this kind of storytelling was good. I think they were a little bit slower on the Minfilia development with Thancred. They wanted to make you think that Reen really owned her decisions, but she had the same sort of circular reasoning that she did when, kind of before becoming Reen, you know? You can't just dye her hair red and say, okay, I'm in charge of my life. Because she still had all the influences of Thancred, the way she thought and behaved and everything. So I thought that was kind of the weaker aspect of the story. But the Fae was great, Evilmore was great. You know, not Gaddafi, what is it? Can't remember his name now. The Innocence fight in Hades. It was amazing how he fought Innocence and he fought Hades. There was a lot of really interesting, contrasting ideas going on. And Uriansh's decision. Oh. You got to see the motivations of everyone. Emmett, Zilch, the Crystal Exarch. So I'm very excited to go through these post-MSQ quests and continue this adventure. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening.